Hello, Vigo's Court. Court is now in session. I am your judge, Judge Vader, and joining me today is Counselor Q. How are you doing today, Q?
Hey, what do you do? I am feeling fantastic. I'm excited to get into some good matches here. This is my first time on. I just gotta say, I know we were talking about it before we started, but that intro scene looked good, didn't it, chat?
Ooh, it did.
Good. Makes me get ready for some exciting for an exciting matchup we got here. So,
indeed. Honestly, it is a pleasure to have you on as well. And shout out to Rambo for making that starting scene. I know everybody talks about how good that scene looks, and Rambo worked very hard on that. So hey, props to him. All right, but 6 and Deadheads today. So we've seen both of these teams earlier in our tournament here, and 6 came out really strong as a survivor team. We actually never got to see their killer because they no-hook escaped a hag. Like we haven't seen a single killer from 6 because of how well their survivors did. That's crazy.
yeah, I can't even. That's definitely gotta have you feeling really good moving into matchup number 2, right?
Indeed, yeah. I mean, yeah, you definitely have to feel amazing about that. And the other team doesn't even have anything to compare against. They're like,
yeah,
I haven't seen that killer like at all. I don't know. Like, I don't know how they play killer. So it honestly puts a lot of pressure on the other survivors.
yeah, and we've had I think both teams here, are kind of a little newer. We've got kind of moving in we got some fresh blood, I guess you can say. We've seen them in some other competitive teams. First time we've seen them here in Vigo's Court though. So gotta show up and show out and make your first appearance,
Yeah, indeed. And I will definitely say for Deadheads, I have seen Deadheads in Champions of the Fog, actually. The team that I play for, we overslept. We are within Vigos and Champions of the Fog, so we have seen this team before. They are a solid team, so we should have a really good matchup today.
Yeah, it looks like, we should have... is this who we're seeing in the first matchup here?
It is indeed. We have our survivors all loaded in, and it looks like we have Travesty on Demand as our killer for Deadheads.
Ooh.
And we will be starting on Thompson House for everybody watching. This is going to be a 4-trial match today. We will have our survivors surviving on both Thompson House and Gas Heaven, and each team will have their survivors on each map and their killers on each map. So it'll be really fun to see.
Yeah, I think especially because the two maps kind of offer something a little different as far as like your strategy. Obviously, hopefully we won't get the spectator bug, but you don't have quite as much going on in the middle of the map on one, whereas the other one you have some very elongated sides, kind of separates the maps almost, I guess you can say, into like thirds, kind of in a very weird way. Or I guess you can say 5 if you put like the middle and then the 4 sides of that square, I guess, essentially. So
right.
It's always fun, I think, for me when you see 2 different maps as far as in a matchup like this, where the micro decisions, kind of seeing how those stay consistent through a team. Because Thompson House, you might have some similar results. So it's just about like who has an extra hook state here and there. Those are going to be the things that like make a difference over a matchup. And it's kind of like, again, it's about cycling through and just kind of keeping your strategies upright and kind of keeping everything on point. So.
And I couldn't agree more. These survivors, I definitely think we're going to need some really good coordination from them. Staying split up on gens in this league, we do have Prove Thyself banned, so we won't see as many survivors trying to pair up, and so it does put a little bit more pressure on the killer to try to find these survivors and have their chases end a little bit earlier, because you're less likely to find grouped up survivors.
Yeah, and so, that's where we kind of get to see some of these killers, especially in the comp scene, just in general, kind of start to I guess you can say, flex their game sense and their map knowledge. Because, in pubs you might see a lot more barbecue and chili because everyone loves blood points, right? Whereas here you don't have things like that, so you're using other perks and a lot of, again, your game sense and stuff to locate your next player after a hooked survivor, which is always fun to watch.
Definitely. And some of the best killers I've ever seen, they are, it's crazy how it seems they just know where survivors are on the map at all times. Like, they go ahead and get it down, and immediately they're like, let me just go ahead and go back over here real quick. And they find another survivor, and you're like, how did you know? How did you know?
If I was another survivor, I would probably be on this gen breaking towards Killer Shack. Let me go see.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, definitely super cool to see. It does look like we're getting ready to go into this matchup, though. So we're going to go ahead and review some killer rules, see how our killers can score some points. And so, guys, our killers are scoring points via the hooks. And so first and second hook result in 2 points each. Third hook is 3 points, and progressions are worth less at 1 point and 2 point respectively on those progressions. If a killer gets 7 or 8 progressions, though, they will get an extra point per. 4 kills results in 2 points. More kills are the corresponding hook, resulting in 30 possible points for the killer. Bleed outs don't equal any points, so definitely don't want to slug the survivors and not be able to find them. And Q, what killer do you think we'll see on Thompson House?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think this is one where I would probably not be expecting to see like a blight or anything like that. Just because obviously you have a lot of emptiness in the middle. I guess we can see here who we are indeed actually coming in here with. And it looks like we actually are able to locate some survivors right off the rip here as well. Ooh, unfortunately swinging right into the barrels there. Oh, and also into the side there. Ooh, also getting across to the pallet here. So it does look like this is the ace here that we're going to be taking into the top side of the map. We do see that we're able to get a little bit of our it looked like we're going to be able to get a first hit there, but instead we also got not just a blind, but we also got plus 10 wood to the face. You absolutely love to see it. And of course, the flashlight not going to be a very big friend to our killer here.
Indeed. I was thinking that it was looking really good for our killer because it appeared to be that we had our chase early. We were going to get a hit early, but Ace played that loop really well, stunning our killer and really not allowing early pressure.
Yeah, so we see that the ace was able to break away. Probably a good decision to break that chase. We do see that we were able to locate a Megan back here onto that generator. Meg is able to make it back to the shack. Not quite able to make the pallet. Very unfortunate. So it does look like Travesty here going for the pickup. Is there anybody nearby for a save? Does not look so. We do have one hook. We do have one generator complete as well.
I will say though, as far as the survivor running to the shack there, that gen's kind of all off on its own. So I think that's a really smart play by the survivors to go that way.
Yeah, definitely this is going to be one of those things when we talked about as far as like the micro decisions, right? Getting a very good generator split early, kind of like we're seeing. We do see Travesty coming back, locating the Megan here as well, trying to get basically staying as close as possible. Of course, while he's cloaked, not going to be able to make a swing here. Getting a hit though on to the ace. That's going to be a down there, actually. This is going to be pretty big. It does look like we're going to be seeing another hook here as well.
Yeah, definitely seeing make your choice there. I don't normally see that on a Wraith. I didn't expect to see that in this build, but we've already gotten value off of it. We did hear Ace scream earlier via the unhook, and we actually did see the exposed down on him. So really good play by Travesty to bring that perk.
Yeah, Travesty bringing in, getting the big value there. Of course, it did look like almost at first he was going to take the chase with the Megan who just came off of the hook, right? Which I think is kind of what gave the ace that little bit of comfort to kind of try and run away from Shaq. And instead, unfortunately, just kind of got caught out in the middle of nowhere. We do see Ace out here on the backside as well. Once again, that's going to be a down on Ace. Now, the question is going to be, is Travesty going to go for the slug? Probably a good idea since you do not know which survivor is carrying around that good old can of Lipton tea that could smack you upside the head. So it looks like he's instead going to try and chase down another survivor.
Oh, indeed. And really, once again, I do want to point out those survivors stayed near the shack this entire time. And that is very interesting for our survivors here. And I'm getting reports that our game sound is not working. So I'm going to look back into that queue while you are still casting here.
Yeah, so it does look like we actually have our ace taking our loop here at the shack. Of course, one thing that you have already seen a couple times, and we'll, if we have anybody that might be new to, say, competitive DBD, we see some very passive pallet throwing. Of course, that's because all of our teams here, they're working together. They're going to be in comms. They know that if they happen to play loops very safe and waste a killer's time, they can depend on their teammates to be able to hold M1, hit some skill checks. We do see Travis, he's able to come to the top side of the map here, able to locate the thing. That is going to be another hit implemented onto there. So we do now have 2 survivors in play at the moment that are both 1 health state away from being down on the floor and being that much closer towards the hook. We also see some, it actually looks like we're able to locate the same survivor, able to, not able to stay blocked into the pallet space. That's actually going to be a very, very big stun, plus 10 wood to the face. Travis breaking the pallet there and going to go ahead and pursue chase.
Yeah, definitely. These survivors are keeping actually some good pressure on this killer. Already having 2 gens out, and I'm sure they're working on another gen. Where this chase has been kept, we do see a gen pop off. These survivors definitely can be on other gens, pressuring them well. I almost do want to see Joy get a reset, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, since it took so long for that 3rd gen to pop. We honestly probably, I was going to say, have another gen that's very, very close to popping just because they were separated there. We do see that Travisty's going to come pursue the ace here, of course, going to be very, very big. There's going to be the burn with the blind, of course. As we were talking about earlier, a light is really not a Wraith's best friend. A very, very good tool to have in the hand of our ace here, especially because he is injured and he is on the verge of getting eliminated, if I am not mistaken. So it's going to be huge. Going to try and hit the body burn, and instead, is he going to be able to get it here?
Oh, he does. That is amazing. He got the body burn there. And what do you think of the play of going ahead and staying with this ace when we did indeed hear our make your choice go off again, maybe having an opportunity to hit a survivor that doesn't have that flashlight? And we do see it actually here. As I was just talking about it, we see Nancy go down from the make your choice.
Oh, I thought she had that angle there for a second and was about to get the blind. That would have actually been huge. Yeah, I think the hope there was to try and finish that chase there with your ace and still just basically be able to keep him slugged and go for that make your choice value. As we saw, only able to get the make your choice value. Ace still is up and moving around here. We also have another survivor out on the backside here. It is the Fang, who has been hooked once at least, swinging through the pallet space, but that's not going to be a Fang there. That isn't going to be a down. That is going to be a hit there onto the Fang. We've got 3 survivors now at this point that have the ability of being on the floor in just a very short second. And of course, with the Wraith's movement speed, you do have a little bit of snowball potential if they happen to all be here in the backside, but it does look like we have some very, very passive gameplay coming from the Fang. Of course, using that resource of the pallet, but you've got the resources, might as well use it while you get that reset you were talking about.
Indeed. And I think we actually did see a deli from Nancy as well. So that leads the question, were the survivors running to the other door and possibly have the other door ready? And it sounds like we do hear this door now progressing. We do have Fang going down, but that's a very good showing for the survivors having this gate open here.
Oh, that's a big swing and miss too. We do still have ace up on the ace up. As you can see, is 1 hit away from the floor. I do believe since it was a very, very short time from the time that the unhook came to the full heal, I believe it was actually second wind there, which is actually, we're starting to see it come a lot more into play. I can't remember what it's going to be called after they change it with the removal of the Stranger Things pack. That is going to be, that's actually his second hook. Doesn't mean he's quite even on death hook here. Of course, remember death hooks being the most important hook, being the most points. We got a body block coming in here from the Nancy as well.
Oh, Fang is running that loop very well. It stayed in that tile for a while, and Fang showing us she knows how to run that tile well, even versus a Wraith.
Yeah, we see them setting up for the body block here. We also have the pallet into play. Now, we do see that our Wraith here is going to try and use that add-on, get as much valuable information as possible. Of course, Travesty also playing this very patient with the patience that he has, hasn't been taking a swing. Ooh, able to get it just before the body block comes in. Really good idea here. You want to get at least one hit. You've got one person hit. If you could get a second person with a health state applied, you could really potentially maybe even steal a 2K if you make 0 mistakes from this point out. But you've got to at least put this person on a hook. You've got to get yourself some more points, because at this point the survivors are just waiting to get out.
I agree. I couldn't agree more either. I kind of felt that when this chase was going on with this Fang, the Ace was able to get unhooked and reset. And so I was worried about us spending maybe too much time on this injured Fang. And I think these survivors are just going to go ahead, cut their losses, and take the 3 out. And I think that's a smart play, honestly.
Yeah, we're going to see here. I mean, she is still on second hook. We did get a full reset. We've got an open door right there. We do have a couple survivors here. You going to get the birdie? Nope, not able to get the body burn time. That would have been huge if you would have been able to get that. Oh, there's going to be a play. We got a second person coming in for the save. Probably got borrowed time. Are we able to get a second body in here before the Nancy goes down? Nancy able to throw down the pallet. We now got another body coming into play here. It looks like we go with those body blocks.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy.
I'm flinching.
Dude,
this is tough.
This what an attempted play by these survivors. They're trying to double heal here. Like,
no! Oh my God! You get the heal. You've got the body block, and now you've got four survivors getting out the door. Oh my goodness! Talk about the decision making by the survivors. That's going to be huge.
Man, I thought that was going to snowball fast. I was worried for the survivors, but them showing us that, hey, don't count us out. We've got this. We know what we're doing. That's amazing from these survivors. Great showing again from 6. I told you before, we had some really strong showing from them earlier on in this tournament.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. We looked like there at the moment we were looking at going from a 1K to maybe a 2K, depending on how they're able to play it. But yeah, not only just able to keep, it's one thing to have a game plan, even for when you get into late situations like that, but just to keep the nerves going, everyone staying together, the coordination, the moving in for the body blocks. Wow, that's just, you just love to see it, honestly.
You really do. Like that, honestly, like I've got goosebumps a little bit, dude. Like that was crazy. As a survivor main, the survivor main in me is going, no, take the 3 out. There's no way you get this done. I heard the healing behind that hay bale, and I was like, oh God, are you gonna get this off? No, you're double healing. You got it off right when you needed to, and it's like, oh my God, now you all look like geniuses. Y'all look like the best survivors right now.
Yeah, you know that the injured survivors sitting there like, you hit these. All right, let's go, baby.
Great. Let's go. Dude, that's just insane. And for the killer, that's definitely kind of like a you thought you had this, and it's like, dang, they just snatched it from me.
Yeah, so I mean, the good news here though is, I mean, the killer was able to put themselves, get themselves a couple of hooks on the board. You have the ability now coming out onto the survivor side. The important thing is now you need your teammates, right? If you can get your teammates to rally around you, if you can come out in game 2, and maybe if you don't match game 1's performance, but if you can at least like minimize the lead that team has moving into game 3, that's really the big thing that you have to do here if you're the Deadheads.
Yeah, and definitely this lead is not insurmountable by any means. Definitely a strong showing from Deadhead, or from 6's killer would put it further out of reach, but Deadheads can bring this back with their own survivors for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the interesting thing is going to be, what do we see as far as a killer coming back out, and what do we see as far as from the killer from 6? I know you've seen the team a little bit more maybe than I have. So do you have any ideas of what we'd be looking at? If you're a killer coming in at this point, do you change up at all what your game plan is based off of the survivor team coming out and having a very strong performance, or do you just come out with what you already have planned?
You come out with exactly what you have planned. And like I said at the beginning of this, we have never seen 6's killer. They never ended up playing a killer in the first match. They clinched it with one singular match from their survivors, not allowing the killer to score any points. So definitely shutout victory the first time for 6. This is going to be the first time we see the killer. So really, they have the whole arsenal too. I mean, there's a nurse possible, there's spirit possible, there's blight. I think if you're 6, you're keeping the pressure on and going, you know what? We finished off the first team early in the tournament. Let's go ahead and try to put as much pressure down as possible and repeat.
So okay, so that's a good question then. So are you saying then that you come out with one of your meta killers, your blights, your nurse, your spirit, or do you try and still keep those in the back pocket for maybe a little bit later in the tournament since no one's seen them yet? You know what I mean?
I don't think you do. I think that first match, it definitely went very well for the survivors, but the killer was able to get a fair amount of hooks. And so the other thing you got to think about is on Gas Heaven, they're going to be gunning for you now because they already know that your survivors got the best of their wraiths, so they may pull out their big guns. And so you need to make sure that you have a good enough lead where you're not necessarily worried about a nurse coming in and trying to 4K early, or a twins trying to get a 4-man slug and trying to go ahead and score a bunch of points, right? So you want to keep the pressure off of your survivors that will have to survive in the final round of this match. So I think you do keep the pressure on for sure. And like we said, you haven't burned really any of your killers, with the exception of I think technically not playing killer. It did burn their trapper, I believe, but really you still have a lot of really powerful killers in your arsenal. And this is quarterfinals, so semifinals coming next weekend, and finals coming back after that. I think you go ahead and you burn it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that does make sense. You've only got, I guess, what you figure, even if you play out both your killer sets today, even if you give out the big information, part of it is like, if you can kind of give a little bit of the way of the farm if you feel confident in yourself, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I guess, how do you feel with Deadheads? Do you think that they may have kind of done some of that, like not necessarily bring their big killer in the first match? Do you think they may be holding back like either a spirit or some other killer to bring to Gas Heaven? And I can't remember what Deadheads brought to the first match, so I can't remember what killer they ended up bringing. But whichever S tier killers they have left in their arsenal, do you think that was part of the plan from the beginning? Or
I mean, I think part of it is you want to try and at least save something that you're comfortable with, right? So obviously, like, you need to get there is the first part, which is why I think you were talking about, you know, you might see him coming out with like maybe a spirit or a blight or a nurse here for 6. I think here you're probably talking about someone who was maybe not quite the top of the list, but like their middle 7, it was like their top 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Yeah. Someone that they felt very confident, because they came out and they had a very strong hook count. They did unfortunately weren't able to secure any eliminations, so they weren't able to get the juicy 3 points for that third hook there, which could be costly, especially come to game 3 or 4. That's why it's going to be really important for their survivors here again to just make sure that they come out here, and even if they can't get a 4 out, if they can just, again, if they can get 3, 2 on like very minimal hooks, you know, do something to try and minimize that gap.
Yeah, and I think as you're saying there, you've got to get those escapes, because just like we were talking about, the kills are really valuable for those killers. The escapes are what are really valuable for the survivors. The gens, by comparison, are really not worth as many points as the escapes themselves. So
that's a good point.
As a survivor, you're wanting to make sure that the hooks are spread across your roster. You don't want somebody going to death at 3 gens.
Right, and I think so, and that's gonna be, man, would you, if you're coming out here as the killer for 6, do you maybe try and force an early elimination for that reason?
I think so. Honestly, for the killers here, kind of tunneling somebody out and getting them out of the game at 4 gens or 3 gens isn't super negative, because you end up taking points away from the survivors. I mean, that 4th escape is worth 6 points, so going ahead and snatching that away from the survivors, I mean, it might as well make that that last hook worth more like 9 points, right? Because you're taking away 6 from the survivors and scoring your own 3. So I wouldn't say it's a negative to tunnel out, try to secure those kills.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one thing where we'll see the strategy maybe changes a little bit, and that's not uncommon, I don't think, in the comp scene at all. We tend to see where if you have a survivor or a survivor squad like we just saw that does very good, or even a killer that comes out and has a very, very strong first performance, maybe that switches up how the survivors do in game 2. You know what I mean? So they've kind of afforded themselves to have some options here. So don't be surprised to see, 6 do what they needed to do to kind of, again, extend this lead and make sure they secure themselves into that semifinal spot.
Yeah, definitely. And let's go ahead and review the survivor scoring once again to see how Deadheads can come right back into this game. So guys, as we were talking about, these survivors do score by finishing those gens, but the 1st and 2nd gens are worth 1 point each. The 2nd and 3rd gen and 4th gen are worth 2 points each, and the 5th gen is worth 3 points each. And our escapes are worth 1 point for the 1st escape, 2 points for the 2nd escape, 3rd escape and 4th escape being worth the most points at 4 and 6 respectively. So the survivors do get an extra point if they are hooked once or less, giving them an available point total of 26 points. So definitely Deadheads wants to try to not get hooked as often, but they're also looking to get those escapes. Like, even if they are getting hooked, if somebody's going on their 2nd hook, that survivor needs to play as immersed as possible. We don't want them to go to death here if you're Deadheads.
Yeah, and I think that's also where it's important that you're just really keeping a good communication as well as between your teams. If you can communicate where on the map the killer is, if they're moving towards Jack, if they're moving up towards the main house, main building, it gives you kind of the ability to start moving away from those gens that the killers are going to be ultimately moving towards. We do see, though, it looks like our team here does decide to go ahead and go with the home field advantage. Always love to see Billy, honestly. One of those where you haven't seen Billy played quite as much, at least on the, didn't see him in the locker. Did have a Nia. It does look like they're right around the corner. We will probably see, though, of course, with the chainsaw, don't be surprised to see our survivors kind of being, again, a little more passive with the pallets. Keep in mind, it's not like a public lobby where you don't have full communications. They can depend on their team to be working on gens, able to locate totems if they need to. That is going to be a very, very big curve, though, actually. Getting a quick down, this is going to be very big, especially if you can get them to a hook and get into a 2nd chase here.
Indeed, that's really early to have a hook. Honestly, that's a very good showing for 6. And if you're Deadheads, does that give you any worry right now, having a hook that early?
I mean, I think the big thing here is you just kind of got to keep your composure, right? It is only 1 hook. We've definitely seen some comebacks. I think there, what we might have seen was someone just trying to play, maybe way you might see people play a little bit more in pubs, playing a little bit more tight with their resources, you could say, trying to be a little bit more stingy, not throwing that pallet there. We do see the M1 coming through here, though, onto the ace. So we now have the save coming across the map on the unhook. We also have the ace here, so that does mean potentially we probably only have 1 survivor on a gen somewhere amongst the map, because as we can see here, we've got that corrupt intervention. You're going to pretty much see that, though, in every game ever. With the chain hit through the pallet with the down. You absolutely love it.
Indeed. Low pro chains coming in clutch there. I don't think Ace expected that. Ace just going, I'm safe behind this pallet, and Billy over here proving him wrong, saying, hey buddy, I think you should check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, I do gotta say, though, I'm kind of surprised you wouldn't potentially think of the low pro chain idea, just because I think that's like the only add-on of Billy's that I would assume until I haven't seen otherwise, versus vice versa. You know what I mean?
I definitely agree with you. Like, anytime I see it.
Potential, crazy.
Indeed, like I'd have to agree with you for sure. Like if you see Billy, you gotta expect it. It's almost like anytime I see Blight, I'm usually expecting Tinkerer. It's one thing that I feel like just goes hand in hand.
Yeah, especially even too with the add-on, you either expect he's going to be running one of the speed add-ons or an aura add-on, right? Like one or the other, if not running both. You can usually expect either the chains or the boots, if not both on ability. That's just kind of the way it works. We do see that that's going to be our third hook in the game. That's going to be the second there for our Nia coming in. So our killer here doing a very, very good job of amassing a lot of early game pressure, even without like an intentional camp or anything, but definitely keeping a nice little bit of pressure. Like we talked about heading in, going to try and take that 6 points away from our survivors here early and secure that elimination by not allowing that person to escape here.
Yeah, and I think if you are 6, knowing that you can deny the 6 points and guarantee that your lead will be a little bit higher, I think camping to this progression like we're seeing right here, I'm not upset about it actually. If I'm 6.
Yeah, I'm not upset about it, and I think I think you almost had to. I don't want to say expect it, but again, with having such a big performance, and like you said, heading into the match, that fourth escape being so valuable with the 6 points. You have to figure that our team here for 6 is going to try as much as possible to prevent those points to try and make sure that, again, they can extend that lead heading into game 3 here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And we are seeing a survivor getting chased off a gen here that has a fair amount of progress to it. We do see our Billy getting stunned here, but he doesn't mind too much.
Yeah, he takes the pallet nice to the face. We also see him still trying to keep the tracking here. This is going to be a big down because you're going to be able to get the hit here. You also have as you said, you've got a generator back here that has a lot of progression. So if you want to, you do have some options to kind of keep an eye on the 2 of those. It does look like we still have, oh no, we don't have the house in. So actually our survivor team has done a very good job, if you're looking here, of separating their gens. If anything, I might almost expect 2 survivors to be on that middle gen here, trying to basically break up the longest side.
Yeah, and actually, I'm almost feeling like our Billy may have missed something there, but I think that gen sounded like it was being progressed while we were in chase with Claudette. I'm not really sure.
Oh, we do see, so we got someone coming in for the save. It does look like we've got the Kate coming in here. Is getting the save. Kate going down, catching the chainsaw in the back. This is going to be huge, actually, for Deadheads. You really need Claudette to be able to get to safety here. Claudette able to not only get to safety, but you did conserve a resource on this corner of the map that's actually going to be very big here. You do see that our killer is going to pursue chase, though, on the Claudette. Honestly, probably a very, very good idea, especially knowing where we're at. That's actually going to be our 4th gen, though. That's going to be huge. That does make our killer decide to actually double back and go for the person that is slugged on the ground. But unfortunately, running into the object, I think we might actually get somebody picked up off the ground here.
It doesn't look like we will this time, but our ace definitely looked like he was still close. Might want to clear out and make sure. I can't remember it. Has Ace taken a hook state yet? If not, maybe you go ahead and risk it. Try to get that unhook. But I do believe he actually has taken a hook state. So I think you try to pressure out one of these other gens. This is first hook on Kate, so it's okay to let her hang a little bit and try to save her before death.
Yeah, especially because if you have 2 survivors, keep in mind that's going to be less time to get a gen done than almost basically a full progression state. You're basically would be allowing that survivor to go into second hook and then being able to get the gen done. We actually see, though, that's going to be a huge deliverance play across the map. That's actually going to allow our Kate to going to be right into that area, right by that gen. As you heard, it was pretty far along. I think we're at least past 50%. Kind of surprised to see our killer going to go ahead and continue this chase here. I do believe, though, this is our Claudette, and I think Claudette is on death hook, so that might be why we're going for the decision here of getting that that second elimination, that 4 points taken away from our survivors here.
I agree, and that means that our survivors can only score what 1 and 3 points for the 2 last escapes here. So this is a really good job for our killer to go ahead and pressure these survivors down. And I guess, yeah, you're right, that was second hook, not death hook for our Claudette.
Yeah, we see Claudette's chase back down here into the TNL. It actually looks like our killer's going to chase the ace down here into the deep part. Probably a good idea because he is, well, he is the only person that you're going to get full value of that there no-ed right there. So we do see getting the no-ed value, getting a hook right next to the door. So the question is now, do we have any survivors next to the totem? We've actually got some pretty friendly doors here for our Billy as well. Oh man, things just got very, very interesting.
Q, I don't know if you saw it. We're seeing a no way out play. We saw the loud noise notification as we were getting Ace downed, and look at those doors being blocked by our no way out here. These survivors should probably try to find maybe the no-ed during this time that these doors are remaining blocked.
Yeah, I guess just cleanse totems, right? I guess yeah, unfortunately not getting the no-ed. So like we talked about, right here, yeah, you've got the doors blocked, but oh, it looks like we did. Was that somebody I saw coming in for the save?
That was it was a Kate actually walking away from the save, and we do see Claudette over on the other door. No way out is gone now. Oh, that was close. I actually thought we were going to get downed with our chainsaw there, but instead, no, we just get clubbed.
Yeah, so that's going to be one on the ground. You have 2 injured survivors across the map, and of course, you've got a lot of mobility here as the ability coming across here, pushing the survivors back into this corner. As you can see there, we do not have this door even to 25%. I don't think I even saw a single light. We do have the chase going on with the Kate that is going, oh, nice dead hard though, creating a little bit of distance. Unfortunately, not enough distance. If I had to guess, you're probably going to see a very quick hook here, and then our Billy is going to double back towards the Claudette, who just got picked up off the ground. Unfortunately though, I don't know if they're going to be able to get there in time. I think that door had at least 50% progress on it, right?
I think that door didn't even have I didn't think it had a single light done, but now it looks like we're going back towards the other hook, so it looks like Billy is seeding that door and just wanting to confirm their kill on this Kate.
Oh, this isn't good. We have a player coming in. You have to assume that there's going to be a no-ed. You're able to get the down onto the ace. Now you're basically going to be able to chase your Kate here. You basically got to count out your borrowed time. At this point, you have to assume that's just about out. Then you've got to hope that they don't get out the door thanks to a D-strike play or any sort of save that might be coming in from the Claudette. Here's the question. Now what do you do? Where's the Claudette? You're probably going to see the Claudette, yeah, going to be pushed out the door. We still have yet, remember, we still have yet to see Unbreakable in play. I do not believe we have yet to see any D-strike.
Indeed.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, this is tough. I think you have the time to let the survivor crawl, and I don't think that they will be able to crawl all the way out. Now, my question is, can Ace hide and oh, never mind. Like, forget what I was saying. Ace has stood up, and now you have to worry about Ace possibly pressuring the other door and taking his leave and getting out of here. And if this is a decisive strike, maybe you lose both survivors.
Yeah, this could be tough because you have to assume that the ace, well, we saw that the ace just got the heal across the way. So probably going to be moving in towards that other door here. You would have to assume that the Kate here at this point has got to be trying to bait out the DS, right?
Yeah, I think so as well, but I think our killer is smart and counts it all the way out, and we will see this final hook on our Kate here. But I do think Kate did give enough time to Travesty to go ahead and get out of this trial. Maybe we don't see that door open though, so Travesty may be betting on trying to escape through this already open door or the hatch.
Yeah, as I say, you'd have to assume that if he wasn't at the other door, he probably had located the hatch because he was not there at the door. We do see the hatch escape. That's going to be 2 escape there. Very good performance by our survivors, but kind of like we talked about heading into the matchup, our killer 4-6 here has done a very, very good job of being able to take away 10 points or 10 potential escape points from our survivors by getting those 2 kills. And we're seeing here, you know, our 6, you talked about it. They didn't even have to bring out the killer in the first round. Then they had a very good performance here, Billy on home field advantage. So I don't even know what to expect for them to bring out here in game number 3.
Yeah, and guys, we will see 6 killing again at Gas Heaven. So definitely, I don't know what we'll see either. You do have a pretty good lead as our killer team here for 6. So I don't know. Do you possibly bring another killer like on the same tier as Billy?
Yeah, I think that's your move here. I think at this point with your lead, you figure you've got your 3 that we all know in the comp scene as your meta, right? Your Blight, your Nurse, your Spirit. You might as well at least save the 3 of them for the semifinals. Might not even be surprised to see them only play one of them in the semifinals, depending on how they're looking and what, kind of where the draw is, right? Depending on where they're at in the bracket. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them bring another see another strong mid-tier. And I guess I actually forgot that the reset for finals, right? So yeah, we might even see them bring, at this point, with that, we might see actually one of the top 3 come out, just so you can kind of set yourself a little momentum. If anything, you would probably, I think, bring your middle of the 3, whoever you feel most confident with.
Yeah, and I think to counter, maybe you do bring like somebody like maybe a demo. Like I've got my demo here. Maybe you bring a demo on Gas Heaven. But definitely, I think with it resetting for finals, I would burn one of the top 3. Just go ahead and show your hand just a little bit. Make your semifinal opponent kind of sweat about, oh, they do have solid killers, and we already know about their survivor play. So I think I would also bring maybe, like you said, your middle top tier killer.
So would that make you think then, with the, if you're thinking like a top tier player, or not like a top tier killer, right? But one of your more like top mids, a killer that we've kind of seen start to get shifted into the meta, especially in like your EU scene, particularly in the Russian scene. But maybe see like the twins come out. That way you still have all of your hands in or all the cards in your hand for semifinals.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think twins is a fairly good killer to bring on Gas Heaven anyway, honestly,
because you're gonna get lots of hooks even if you don't get the Ks, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, even as we're thinking about like what we saw from that match, you're denying the survivors the most amount of points if you're able to prevent the escapes, right? So you want to confirm those kills, and so with our twins, you're able to send Victor out to go and try to injure survivors while staying near the hook with Charlotte when you do have a hook, and try to force those kills.
Yeah, and I was thinking one other thing too. Do we maybe see a couple teams, and maybe even we see it here? Maybe do we see a Death Slinger like before the nerf comes out?
Oh,
so like
man.
Get it like one last, the last hurrah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would love to see it, honestly. I mean, hey, 6, if you're listening, if you hear us right now, bring him out. Bring out the Death Slinger. Oh, and we do have that one guy D in the chat. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Hey, we here at Vigos are happy to see you in the chat, bud.
Hopefully you're having yourself a good night, homie. Hey, who would you like to see? I think I've seen him talk about, I think I saw him bring up Shirtless Myers as well as the twins too. So, I mean, I'm good with either of those options coming out. I'm always good with some Myers play, even though I don't think we would. But it's, what would it be for the sense of the season? I mean, it is Halloween after all, right? So
fair. I think it's too close for you to bring Myers, though. Personally, like, I think if you don't do well as Myers, all of a sudden that pressure is flipped right back onto your survivors, and so I think it's still way too close for you to necessarily bring out a Myers in this comp match. And we did see that in the UA game versus Prestige. UA was ahead early and stayed ahead in the second match, stayed ahead in the third match, but we were talking in the fourth match about how Jazzy and their Blight for Prestige could have brought the entire match back, and it could have been a win for Prestige. And talking about the history of what Prestige had going, they faced IA in their first match, and they won by 1 point. They had a comeback victory to go ahead and win by 1 point. So we've seen some close matches, and we've seen some heartbreakers. I don't know that you play with your fate that heavy, you know?
Yeah. Well, especially too. I mean, you know, shout out to the killer over there. If there's a blight that I'd be worried about, I think Jazzy probably ranks on my list somewhere up there. You know, so. But going into our match here again, I'm really going to be excited to see what our killer here for a 6 brings out. I just can't think of. I think I'm still probably sticking to again. I think Twins has kind of started becoming more of a meta. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Twins, but I would also really love to see a Deathslinger. We see that we're loading in here, so we're gonna be able to find out here in a moment. One thing I wanted to ask you though. As far as on Gas Heaven, do you try to break up like your middle section very much first? Do you leave the gas station since it's a very big loop to play up? Is that one that you try and get that gen done early so you can play around that loop later, or do you save that gen for later since it takes him so long to get into the gas station? Like, what's your thoughts there?
I definitely, and real quick, before I address that, I want to go ahead and review our ban rules real quick, if that's all right, and then I will review that. So guys, when we are talking about bans real fast here, our survivors are able to bring yellow items and below into our matchups. We can't bring any duplicate perks except for borrowed time, and they may only have 1 of each item. No duplicate items allowed. Banned perks here are Prove Thyself, Haunted Grounds, and Starstruck, so we won't see those in play. Killer uses are limited to twice a season, but for this tournament it's once. And then match results are subject to review in the event of cheating or missed points. And I honestly, for Gas Heaven, I think a lot of times near the shack, there's a 3-gen, and that's what I try to pressure, honestly. And looks like we do have a restart incoming, actually, for these survivors. There is a 5-point penalty, actually, right as we were talking about not being able to bring multiple items. It does look like our survivors actually did load in with 2 med kits, and so there will be a 5-point penalty to deadheads.
That's tough, especially with the situation that you're already in. Like you were already going to need like a very, very strong game from your survivors here. And to have a mistake like that, that's going to be very unfortunate. That's going to cost, you know, them not only the 5 points, but now you're sitting here, you're about to load into game 3. You've now had to go back into the little lobby. You know, you're down 5 points. What's the discussion that needs to be had amongst the 4 survivors here to get their minds right?
I think it's I think definitely the discussion right now, I'm still seeing 2 medkits in the lobby here. I definitely I hope the discussion is, hey, one of you switch, we need a flashlight. But for sure, I think what I would tell survivors is, hey, calm down, we're still in this. It's only it's a 23-point difference. Now we need to have a good showing as survivors. We want to try to score 20 points if we can, but that would be a 3-out, scoring 20 points. You don't want to give too much pressure to this other killer. You want to be smart with where you take your chases. Make sure that you're split up. That way there's no snowball potential.
We still have 2 minutes.
We definitely we do still have 2 medkits, and mods definitely looks like we may need you in the chat. What? We need to recruit mods. All right, so guys, we are looking for more mods. If you want to be a mod, please hit us up within the Discord. All right,
I think I
and
might be able to help us out with one or two. So I think we might be able to. We need some. But just make sure if you're showing up, we need to make sure that you're ready to put the hammer down. You know what I mean?
hey,
No nonsense. I just need to make sure that the band hammer hand, the wielding hand, is at the ready. You know.
so is that would that be like Bubba's mallet? Is that the hammer that we're talking about?
Look, it's not Bubba's hammer has nothing compared to Thor's hammer. Okay.
Okay. All right. Understood. So definitely, we are looking for mods though. If you can fill out the application within the Discord, if you are interested, we'd appreciate it. We are looking to add to our team.
Yeah, right. It's I also just shout out to the team that we do have. Obviously the faces and the voices that you see when we're casting is one thing, but we do have a whole team that's working on the back end, putting everything together, working on getting our schedules and everything right. So shout out to the whole squad for real, because the production looks crispy. You know what I'm saying?
It really does, doesn't it? Like, oh my goodness, who put all this together? Oh, it's just amazing. Our team put it together, and they are great. They take care of our scheduling. We've got a rules committee that came up with all the rules and ended up we brought in members from like all the teams that are in this tournament right here to be our rules committee and really come together and make this for us. So guys, this is amazing. The fact that this team was able to put this together is super exciting, and I'm excited to see when we get into league play what happens.
Yeah, and I don't know. It looks like we've got everything lined up here. We've got 4 people ready. We've got people loading in. I unfortunately didn't get a sneak peek. I was hoping maybe I was gonna get a little behind the sneak peek, but I don't know why Medic Mom's saying her mods. I'm pretty sure she's now running around with my trios and has joined the 3 Musketeers, making them a quad. So I don't know about her mods. I don't know.
Oh Lord. All right, well guys, because we did have a penalty right there, let's go ahead and review the penalty rules real quick. All right guys, so for our penalties, matches with penalties may be played out, restarted, or both. We did see a restart here. 2 of the same survivor or a banned perk item add-on will be a possible restart in -5 points. Harassing the ref is -10 points, no restart. Using exhausted killer is -10 points, automatic restart. Using players not on roster is -10 points and no restart. Refs may choose not to call a restart based on its effect on the game as well. So definitely we don't want to see penalties, but we got to put them in there just in case there's a restart. You kind of could get a sneak peek of the perks, although the survivors and killer are able to change their build anytime a restart is necessary.
All right, and we're going to be loading in here into some gas heaven. I'm super excited here. I can hear it loading into the background. Keep in mind, we are going to be loading into trial number 3, 6 with a pretty good lead here, sitting at 44-21. And it does look like you called it, my friend. We're going to see the demo doll.
Oh man, guys, if you have seen my casting before on Vigos and on Champions of the Fog, I'm starting to get a reputation for calling what killers are coming up. Trust me, it's not intentional. I just say who I want to see, and I just get thoroughly surprised by these teams giving me what I want every time. I'm like a kid in a candy store, honestly.
Yeah, and you love to see it. So, of course, the demo dog does take a little bit of setup time to be able to give himself the true ability to use the M2 to really be able to traverse or not the M2, but his secondary ability to traverse the map. Has that ability to really get anywhere that they want, as long as they take the time for setup, and as long as our survivors don't take the time to break those portals down as well. We do see that we're able to locate Travesty here. We were in the forward lane here. It does look like we're gonna go back over to our basic jungle gym here, down here on the back side, kind of the corner away from Gas Evan. We do see that corrupt intervention, of course, is going to be in play. You're going to see it pretty much every map. If we are able to get a hit here without wasting a resource, that's going to be huge. We go back into the 4 lane. The 4 lane, can give you some advantage against some killers, definitely not against the demo dog who can lunge all the way across the lane here. Ooh. Able to get the hit through the pallet, and that's going to be a huge down. It's going to be a lot quicker of a down than you were hoping for if you were Deadhead. That's going to be hook number 1, and we haven't even gotten agenda pop yet.
Indeed, and wow, we're getting a really good shot of that pride charm. That is really nice to see. A lot of detail on that, but definitely we also saw some pallets used there, so definitely could result in a dead zone later on in the game. Gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, and we do see that our, of course, our corrupt intervention is off of those gens now. At this point, we've got some gens in play. That's going to be our first. That's going to be our first generator done. We do have the unhook coming in, but we have 2 injured survivors. We've got a Nia going down. Ooh, I was gonna say, you'd have to imagine if he's hanging around, that's going to be borrowed time. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised to see the tunnel, but instead opts to go for the other hook. That's going to be hook number 2, another fresh hook here. And then we are going to probably see our killer stay somewhat in the area. It actually looks like we're going to traverse the upside down, pushing over here. We do get an aura reading here. Also going to be able to make some... Oh, make close a little bit distance. Don't think they're going to be able to get to a pallet. That's actually going to be now 3 injured survivors in the trial, including 1 player with the broken status.
Yeah, and definitely this killer is showing us that they are very competent with these shreds. I don't think we've really seen a misshred yet. Like, this is a really strong showing from this demo.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that, you know, Demo Dog is not going to be available for people to purchase much longer, because I would almost really consider Demo Dog has kind of always been one of those killers for me. I feel like is one of the most, like, if you can say, truly balanced killers. So when you see killers come out and really have a dominating performance, it really lets you know that they have a really good grasp of all the core mechanics needed in order to not only just play the demo well, but all of the killers well.
Yeah, indeed. And I honestly feel like facing a demo, I don't feel like demo is overpowered, but I don't feel like demo's underpowered either. I feel like it really balanced killer, so I'm kind of sad to see him leave the store so that new players to Dead by Daylight can't pick him up. But for sure, this demo is putting a fair amount of pressure down on these survivors near this edge of the map. You think he claimed this as his 3-gen here?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a pretty good setup as we're seeing here. We do see the unhook coming in, but we do see, you know, basically he hasn't gone to that whole other corner of the map if he hasn't been chasing, or not, even if he hasn't been chasing Survivor, he has not gone basically past that row of cars that breaks basically that almost that third of the map there. We do see some body blocks coming in. This is something that we see coming a lot. This is going to be kind of a risky situation, though, against a demo dog. Yeah, as I say, against a demo dog who really has the ability to kind of shred and then go into an M1 rather quickly, or even back into another shred. So we do see the down come in there. That is going to be another hook. And again, we're still only sitting at 2 generators completed.
Yeah, indeed. And one of the big things with demo is the ability to just put down a portal and go back to your 3-gen if you feel like, and that is what we're seeing here, pressuring this gen again. These survivors are knocking gens out, but maybe in for a little rude awakening of a 3-gen that they'll have to try to pressure out.
Yeah, I mean, we can even see there when our killer turns around and kind of looks that direction. It's a decent 3-gen, not the strongest of 3-gen, but it is a decent 3-gen. Now we do see our killer coming across the map here. Now at this point, we've got aura readings letting letting Six's killer know that there are 3 survivors all in total back here. Kind of interesting to see them break away and go into this corner here. It is the Nia, though, who is injured over the TNL wall, of course, with the demo dog's ability to lunge across that TNL wall. Not quite exactly the safest pallet against the demo dog. That's going to be another hook. That is the 4th gen getting done, though, and that is going to be the one that breaks that 3-gen setup there too.
Indeed. And we see demo teleporting to a portal that's not that far away from where they had that hook, but getting that kind of undetectable status is still warranted for teleporting not that far. Try to surprise these survivors, catch them off guard.
Yeah, I think also there too, you notice that the experience for Six's killer here, they were able to not only not go too far away, so they were able to essentially keep a little eye on their hook there, but also they went to the portal that put them closest to where the survivors were going to be coming from and cutting off that lane there. Again, just kind of really showing some really good game and map sense. We do see that they're able to locate back over here. That was a very interesting lunge, getting to the pallet instead of the Claudette. Very unfortunate prioritizing there. And that means that Claudette's also going to continue to be here for the body block, trying to make this thing last as long as possible.
Goodness.
Not able to get the hit, though. That's going to be huge. And I do believe that is going to warrant a GG, taking away 6 points from our survivors here.
It is going to take away a whole 6 points. And remember, I think we also do have our ace on Death Hook as well, if I'm not mistaken. So if you are ace, you are trying to stay as far away as possible from our demo.
Yeah, so we do see they're the 5th and final gen getting complete, able to locate the Claudette. Of course, as the survivor, you always love to see someone get hit in the post part of this trial, the end game here, and not go down right away. It means you don't have to worry about NOED. It means you have the ability to take hits for injured survivors and set up to be able to have some interesting plays here to try and get all 3 survivors out. We do see that the Kate is also going to take a hit, though. That means that we have 2 injured survivors in this portion of the map. That would be huge if you could slug one and then get the other down, being so close to a door. Not sure if getting around here was going to, with the big swing and the miss, though, by our demo dog. Kate also able to put the pallet back down, but of course, Demo Shred able to get that pallet down, get it out of the way. It does look like if our survivor is doing what I think they're doing, they're just going to bury themselves in this corner and allow the other 2 survivors to escape here.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're 6, you're taking this for sure. It would have probably been better if Travesty, the ace, had gone down, because I think we're going to get a hook here and 2 progressions if they end up leaving her. So that will actually give 6 even more points, I think, than if they had had Travesty go down. That would have just been 3 points, and we do see them escaping, making us take 2 progressions here for Hades.
Yeah, and so we just see 6. You talked about it, hadn't seen their killer yet, and then I mean, coming out with 2 very, very strong performances. I will take a 2K on, what was that, 8 hooks? Any day of the week on Demo Dog, I'll take that.
I think it was 8 hook states. I think you're right.
Yeah, I'll take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Ooh, definitely. So it was 6 hooks and 2 progressions. So that's definitely 8 states. I think Deadheads now needs a perfect score, near perfect score from their killer. A perfect score would put them at 64 points, and 6 is already sitting at 60. So honestly, 6 only needs to finish 2-3 gens in order to close out this match. Yeah, and I think it's 3 gens that they need to close.
Would be a tie, right?
3 gens, yes, 3 gens would be a tie, so they need 4 gens. Yes, they need 4 gens in order to close it out completely.
Yeah, that's not a bad win condition. If you're the survivors here for 6, you've definitely done yourselves a very good, you've done your team a very good service heading into the last match.
Yeah, and I do want to mention, this is actually the same scenario that happened to UA versus Prestige. Prestige had a chance, if they had a perfect game or from their killer, then Prestige could have won that game. I'm getting invites from non-comp friends. I'm gonna have to go ahead and reject, unfortunately, for now.
Just want to play with you.
I know.
So who are you bringing out here then? You need to stop them at essentially 3 gens if you want to tie. 2 gens if you want to win.
Yeah, 3 gens forces sudden death.
A big map like this, you would have to imagine we're going to probably see a nurse or a spirit, right?
I think you have to. Yeah, for sure. You're seeing yeah, I think you're seeing spirit, honestly. I think Spirit's
unless
a
you
little
feel
bit
very
stronger.
very confident with your blight, maybe with double speed add-ons, so you can kind of get around the big walls. Maybe
You have to have a really good blight though, because there are like we saw with the 4-wall there are some tight corners that you have to be really confident in being able to take that corner, hug tech, and your flicks have to be on point for sure. So I don't know, unless you're a super confident blight, I don't think I bring blight to this. I think a spirit is definitely more my style here. A nurse, maybe. Nurse or spirit are where I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be someone that has very very big snowball potential with your win condition. If you're a killer, because again, obviously to win, they're going to need to get a 4K at 2 gens, and pretty much any killer main will tell you the first 2 gens are basically free.
Well,
so you're essentially shutting yourself down after the 2 free gens, and that's it. So the pressure definitely being on Deadheads here. I'm going to be very interested to see what they do. I think, really, as long as you could just play maybe wouldn't be surprised to see like an immersive play to wait out Corrupt, because Corrupt is inevitably going to be in play in comp, right?
Yeah. And actually, I just thought of this. You mentioned it earlier, but I think this is 100% Twins territory. This is a 4-slug Twins territory, because if you can 4-slug at 5 gens left, or even 4 gens left,
man, you got to be a nuts Twins play. That's
but a 7th and 8th progression that could score us 28 points, and if they only finish 1 or 2 gens at that point, and you're able to slug them completely out, that would give you a win, not a tie, but a win.
Yeah, I mean, and that is definitely the Twins' forte, right? They're definitely strongest when you're able to get 4 people into the injured state, put people onto the ground. You could see some things, maybe even like a Ruin Undying come into play that way. If you're able to put the pressure, your gens are regressing back. So I mean, it's definitely possible. Oh man, you've got to be like super confident in your Twins though, man. I feel like usually Twins is that, I mean, we know how Twins competitive gameplay usually goes, right?
Yes.
We get down to 1 gen and we're going back to make sure we get our reset. We're either trying to break the 3 gen, or we're trying to break the 3 gen that there inevitably was. And if it gets that far, the game's lost. So I think because of that reason, just solely, oh man, if it's a Twins, let me put it this way: if it's a Twins player, I'm gonna buckle in and get excited, because honestly, feel confident about it.
Hey, I've seen it go both ways too. I've definitely seen competitive matches where a Twins comes out and decides, oh yeah, I'm just gonna slug play is what this is all about. And we see Victor come out early and often and just injuring as many survivors as possible, and if those survivors are not staying grouped up and resetting, it snowballs fast. And I have seen a 4K at 4 gens from a Twins before in a competitive setting, so I'm not going to say it's impossible, but like you said, we do need a confident Twins in that case. So definitely I don't know. I want to see a Twins here, and hey, like I said, I've been kind of getting the reputation when I say I want to see something here. Maybe they'll do it. We might see a Twins.
I mean, you talked about it, though, especially because of how steep of a win condition. Essentially, if you can get a 7th and 8th progression, you would allow yourself a 4th gen, or a 4th gen to get done. You can get 4 gen and slug for the 4K essentially. If you get your 7th and 8th progression, you'd still tie. So the more I talk about it, the more it sounds like it might happen. But man, you've got to be so confident in your Twins mostly because like Charlotte and Victor don't get their strength until at least the first person's injured. And Gas Heaven is a very big map, and you do have a decent amount of filler pallets in the middle area. So a team like 6 can come out and play very, very passive. early throwing pallets and at least get your first 2-3 gens done before you even think about starting to slug though.
Yeah. And you know, I honestly think deadheads can do this though. I think they can. 100%. I think they can. I think the survivors for sure are going to be talking about how they just need to do gens before friends. Let's just go. But I think that Travesty does have the chance to go ahead and pull this out. We have Travesty on demand as our killer. I think it's possible. Let's go ahead and review those killer rules one more time to see what Travesty really has to do to pull this out. But I think it's definitely possible. And hey, if I see a twins, I'm even more convinced that it's possible, okay?
All right, let's do it.
So with these killer rules, once again, we are looking at those hook points, all right, and those kills. So first and second hook are 2 points per. Third hook is 3 points. First progression is 1 point. Second progression is 2 points. And then for our seventh and eighth progression, if we get to that point for a 4-man slug, it's 1 point per for each of those. So 4 kills will be 2 points as well. I mean, really, that's what we're going for. That would leave us with 30 available points total. You want to make sure that those survivors don't end up bleeding out. But it looks like instead we see a demo. What do you think of this, Q?
Another demo. So, you know, of course, again, if you can get some, at least a little bit of time to set up a couple portals to give yourself a little bit of mobility is really what's important, right? Because you've got to be able to put pressure on all of your gens, especially now that well, I guess, you still could slug at the 4K. You're gonna have to go with a very aggressive build on the demo because, like you said before, I think a lot of people would with the big play getting the down. We got another survivor over here in the 4 lane. This could actually be huge if you can get 2 people down this early.
Indeed, like this is exactly what we were talking about, not wanting survivors grouped up. And I feel like maybe the survivors initially were staying grouped up, maybe expecting a twins like we were talking about, expecting a 4-man slug of that variety. So they were already playing the group up. But against demo, no, you want to stay as far away as possible and try to just bang out those gens.
Bro, did you see that heal come across for Claudette? My goodness gracious. We got everybody back up to full health after that hit taken there by the Claudette. We also got our Fang located here on the backside. Keep in mind, our Fang is still pretty close to that unhook. The unhook came in behind, and we have not gone for that yet. So if we're able to get it down here, you almost would have to think, well, now we haven't got any heals. So maybe they aren't still. Oh, there's the heal coming through there. So they're still probably a little close. If you can get this down here, honestly, wouldn't be surprised to see Travesty go for the slug. But this chase is going just a little bit too long. We also see the body block coming. Oh, that's not the miss that you're going to want. That is going to be the first generator getting done. And that is only 1 hook to show for it at this point.
Indeed, and I feel like you did say Claudette had that super fast heal. I'm feeling like we may be seeing some botany, maybe. I mean, that heal was, like you said, super quick.
Yeah, we see it coming in, and even just another very fast heal across the way. We've got Travesty coming in towards the shack here. Of course, Shack going to be very, very fun to see here with the demo dog being able to lunge across at least the shortest side of the shack, and even that windowed side, just about the full side there, giving yourself a little bit of options, getting the hit at the window, kind of like I was literally just talking about it. As we see there, we see the hit coming across on the Nia. If I had to guess, though, since we have not seen any more generators come across and get complete yet, we probably are having our surviving team doing a very good job of separating, doing individual gens, getting a lot of that progression done on multiple gens across the way. We do see the body block coming in there, but keep in mind that is the same Claudette that took the body block earlier. We still have a entered player across the map who is not taking a heal, that is sitting on a gen, maybe sitting with resilience. So we need to get some hook states here quick.
Indeed, and can I just say that if I'm ever looking for a bodyguard, I'm taking that Claudette. I mean, look, how many hits has that Claudette taken and just said, hey, that's fine. I'm still ticking. I'm still protecting my friends, dude. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, we see another gen getting done across the way, and that's actually too, like we were talking about, really wasn't surprised to see our team separating. We had really only seen our Hook Survivor and this Claudette, who is currently being chased by Travesty here. You probably should have known that. Oh, with the jukes though, with the big swing and the miss, Travesty still working this tile, probably going to double back on Hook, probably going to be a very, very good idea because you need to get somebody out of this game ASAP, especially sitting here only at 2 hooks, and you've got, oh, you still got a pallet at this tile too. This is not good.
Ooh, I don't think I saw the shred there. I definitely was worried about possibly getting stunned there as well. I definitely have done that, tried to get that shred in, hit that little tile there, and still get stunned by a pallet drop, and that could have been really punishing for our demo there. Kind of a risky shred.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing though coming from our survivors, one is a lot of confidence, and two is really just the organizations. One, you see the body blocks coming in, but you also see that they're doing a very good job of conserving their resources. We talked throughout the first 3 trials, you know, generally you see people playing very passive in a competitive scene because they can count on their teammates to be sitting somewhere holding an M1. There's that med kit and a very fast heal again. That thing's beefy, boy. I'll tell you what. That is going to be another hit coming in, but there are already 4 generators done. So that does mean at this point, Travesty needs a 4-person slug.
Indeed, and we see a little swing at the locker like, hey, get out of there. And we do see a slug here. Did our survivor just unbreakable?
Yeah, we see an unbreakable coming in from the Nia. That's going to be huge here.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, with the adrenaline value too. That's going to be all 5 generators getting complete. That's going to be a GG. And we see some clickies confirming that they have indeed won the game.
Yeah, indeed. What a strong showing from these survivors. Again, we've seen these perks end up being used in the best way possible. Like I'm sure you would agree as well. We saw the deli used, and we just saw amazing survivor strategies in that first match, and we were kind of seeing the same thing this round.
Yeah, I think I think 6 has officially put Vigo's court on notice. Hey, we might kind of not have the name around the league just quite yet, but we are here to play. Like you said, they were able to do without even getting to a killer round. And then we have seen 2 killers that, you know, most would consider, you know, mid-tier killers in the competitive scene have very, very strong performance. And then again, their survivors have had 2 very, very good trials too. Just honestly, it's been very fun to watch what this team from 6 has put together.
Indeed. And I will go ahead and note as well, with Bear dying there, that's actually the first survivor death that 6 has taken in this entire tournament. Wow, that's crazy to think of from a survivor squad, and that's just showing how good these survivors actually are.
Kind of interesting that we saw our Megan here right in the area, and that's going to be a very big, feels bad, bro, for our killer here, Travesty. That's going to be the no head gone? Question mark?
I don't. Oh, wait a minute. No, this isn't. No,
yeah, do it.
It's a Rancor. Oh my gosh! I saw that the survivor was a obsession, and I was like, the only thing that could be is, but no. Oh, Rancor. Oh, guys, we have been treated today to a nice little Mori. And even Demo, look at the dancing shadow from our Demo. Demo, love it. Demo, love
it. Might not have gotten the result you were wanting on the killer, but you might as well have a little bit of fun on your way out the door. That's going to be a 2 escape from our team for 6 here. Like you said, the first elimination was the first elimination thus far in the tournament. Our killer here was able to get 2 of them. Unfortunately, though, not quite going to be enough. Oh man, I don't really know where to start with. Oh, what we saw from 6 today, just very, very impressive performances. So I am going to be excited to see what they've got everything as far as the top of the meta on the board heading into the semifinals. And who knows what other like top mid-tier killers they are also very good. I mean, they got a couple. Maybe they have a Freddy main or something like that. You never know.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And the crazier thing is, we already said it earlier, but if you remember, in the finals, they have their entire roster to use again. So, guys, this is even crazier and even scarier. All of the S tier killers are still on the board for them to use in semifinals and go, yeah. You like that? You like that? I'm bringing them back again in the finals. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Insanity.
Yeah, and I don't want that to. I mean, we definitely saw a lot of really good plays from the Deadheads here. I don't want that to discount what they did here today. I think this was more about how dominant 6 continues to be. I mean, like you said, we didn't see their killer up until today. So
indeed, the
Deadheads, like you said, they got the first elimination. They got 2 of them there, so can't be mad there. Just unfortunately. You gotta hold this one on. Sometimes you gotta take them and learn from them, and that's what they're gonna have to do here. Really going to, like, if you're sitting here as the other 3 teams in the semifinals, and you see a performance like this from 6, are you starting to rethink any of your game planning at all?
I think that you might be shaken if you see them on your schedule next. You're going, oh shoot, we gotta practice hard this week, guys. We got a test coming up, and we definitely could see a Spirit and a Nurse, or a Nurse and a Blight, or a Spirit and a Blight back to back. We can't play around this week, but definitely, like you said, Deadheads did very well, and we are seeing. I mean, this is a qualifier tournament, and both of these teams will be in a League of Vigos, so this is not the last time this is not the last time we will see these teams play each other. So
right.
Definitely, I feel like 6 may also have a target on their back from Deadheads. Next time Deadheads sees them, we may see a little bit of a comeback or a revenge play here, right? By Deadheads, they might come out with every S tier and throw everything they have at 6.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited to get into that, but it looks like what I'm more excited for is it looks like we've got a friend to bring in and pick the brain of a little bit here and kind of see what happened. So I'm gonna let you bring in the interrogation and let you start that there. So.
All right, guys, let's enter the interrogation room. And Joy, welcome in with us. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thank you. These matches were super fun to play. Props to the other team.
Yeah, definitely. And take us through that first match. We had 2 survivors going down like near that exit gate, and definitely both Q and myself were thinking, are we seeing snowball potential here? And you guys kept a level head and were able to get the 4 out.
Oh yeah, yeah. At the end, we almost threw. It was miscommunication, and just everyone was trying, messing around, and but we also knew what we were doing, and we knew what was the play there. So we stayed calm. We reset, and we eventually took a hit.
Yeah,
and started taking hits for each other and stuff. We wanted him to pick up so we can all reset, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that reset. That was definitely a crazy reset. I wanna go ahead and give you guys the most props for that reset on Nancy right behind that hay.
Yeah.
That was insane. I was going crazy when that happened because Nancy ended up getting hit right after the heal happens and is able to escape the trial, and that's really what clinched your 4 out. So that was a crazy play by you guys.
Yeah, we figured the killer wasn't gonna cut us off or something, or do it. It wasn't gonna come to us. He was just gonna pressure the gate, protect net. He doesn't want Nancy to get out, so we just took the chance to heal, and he didn't realize, he didn't see us.
Yeah,
until the last second.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that we saw a lot from your team, was just a lot of very good communication and like kind of some of the micro decisions. We've seen your team did a very good job of rotating in for the body blocks off of people coming off hooks and things like that as well, while also still always seeming to keep one person on a gen. So it was definitely very impressive to see that kind of that almost like poetry in motion. Obviously, you guys were communicating, but like again, just kind of seeing it all happen live, it was definitely a sight to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We tried to take as many hits as we can for each other. You know, we have to keep the chase going, and the longer the longer the chase lasts, you know, obviously more gens are gonna get done, and that was our main goal against the demos. You know, especially last game.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
That's what we did.
It seemed like you took the most hits from that demo. You were the Claudette, right?
Yes, I was the Claudette. I had the
tank.
I had the medkit and self-care botany, so I
Oh,
wanted to make sure.
So it was body. See, you called it.
I thought, I was like, all right, I'm a survivor that normally runs botany knowledge. I'm like, that heal was way too fast. That had to be botany knowledge. There's no way it wasn't. And it kept happening. It was crazy. Like, all of a sudden, Claudette comes out of nowhere for the body block. And then Claudette disappears for a second. We're like, all right, we lost track of Claudette. She's back to healed. Wow. So, like, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and say joy for my bodyguard 2022, joy for Secret Service 2022, all of the above, like crazy.
Yeah, it was these games were wild. They were super fun. I really enjoyed them, and so has my team. My team have enjoyed these games tonight. We've had a lot of fun.
So obviously we've seen you guys have some very very impressive performances. You didn't even need to bring out the killer, before today, and then we even saw two, not like top, what are considered like the top 3 killers come out, right? And still had some very good performances. But knowing now that we're moving into the semifinals, is there like one team specifically that like you've really kind of got your eye set on and kind of looking forward to the matchup for?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. The next team that we're playing against, we definitely have our eyes on them. They have very good players who have a lot of experience, so we're going to be practicing for that game, and we have to put up a good performance, and I'm sure we can do it. And in that round, I'm sure everyone's going to be seeing the strong killers come out, the top 3 killers. They're going to be coming out. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one.
Definitely excited to call that one for sure.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. Seeing it's going to be a lot of top players playing, very good players. So it should be interesting. It should be a good one to watch.
Yeah, is there anything you want to say to your fans, to the chat?
No, they're all amazing. I have nothing to say. They're all amazing. It's just thank you. Appreciate all of you. You're all awesome.
So now with with heading into the semifinals here and kind of getting ready, heading down the home stretch here, what's kind of the biggest thing that you kind of want to take away from these first couple weeks of game, or these first couple like matches, and kind of improve on? Is there something that like maybe you've identified that like you guys want to kind of go home and sharpen a little bit for the tools?
Oh yeah. There's always going to be some stuff that you have to go look back at and see what you can do to improve. Obviously, everyone makes mistakes, and we certainly did. We definitely made mistakes, but we're going to be looking over those mistakes and seeing how we can improve on them.
I like how you're giving us no spoilers, not giving anything to the competition. I like it.
You got to keep everything close to the chest. Joy is the best bodyguard. Like I already told you, best bodyguard. Bodyguards aren't telling any secrets. Come on.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we are going to start wrapping up the stream today, guys. We are going to raid. Let's see, is Little Rugard live right now?
I just gotta say, I know I was on vacation for the first couple matches. I'm excited to be here. I had an absolute blast in the desk with you today, man. I love our chemistry, and our competition that we have here is great. The production, it looks phenomenal. I am excited that Vigo's court is back. We're gonna wrap up our qualifiers, and then we've got what 2 weeks of preseason, and we're right into the main shebang. So
oh yeah, 100%. And it has been a pleasure casting with you as well. This is the first time I've gotten to cast with you. I know we've definitely been talking about it leading up to Vigo's here, and I mean, I first met you through participating in one of your tournaments, so for sure, I'm happy to have done it with you. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and nominate an honorary high five here. All right?
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
Okay. One, on three. One,
okay.
2, 3.
High five. Yeah, let's go, baby.
We got it. All right, high five passed. All right, guys, so we are going to go ahead and raid Little Rugard. So definitely show Little Rugard some love in the chat as soon as you get in there from Vigo's Court. If you've got the Vigo's Court emotes, if you are subbed, definitely show them off. They're amazing emotes, guys. And yeah, that's all from us, guys. Court adjourned.
Hey.